Hi, welcome to today's lesson covering setting custom tabs in Microsoft Word. This lesson is called W5.13 Ratings, and in it we will create a list about video game ratings by setting tabs formatted with left, right, and center alignments. So again, specifically, we're going to focus on setting tabs that have alignments either on the left, the right, or in the center. You know, tab stops can be formatted to have this alignment built in. When using a tab stop with a center alignment, the center of the text will be at the tab stop position. When using a tab stop with a right alignment, the text will be right aligned at the tab position. So it is difficult, not to mention time-consuming, to align text using a space bar. And I will tell you right now, do not use the space bar. Learn this so that you can do tabs and that your text will always be precise in how it's arranged. Jumping quickly to a formatted position in the document with a tab key can save you a lot of time and make that document precise. Before we begin this exercise, let's first complete our basic Word document preparation. As a student in my class, you'll need to open a new Word document, so let's begin there. I'm already here in Word with the instructions open, so I'm just going to open a new document, and we will start in there. Of course, the first thing we do when we open a new Word document is to change its name and save it. So I'm going to hit Shift-Command-S, and we're going to name this document W5.13 Ratings with a dash, and then you put your own last name in there and your first initial. Make sure you check this destination field right here. Make sure it is actually your BIM Word folder. It should be out here in your favorites bar if you've completed F4.1 and F4.2. So make sure your destination is your BIM Word folder, and then you have this new document with the right name, and then we'll say save. And you know the drill. We come up and double click at the top of this document, and you put in, as it shows you here in your directions, scoot this one over here, your name, not mine, your BIM period, whatever period is that you're taking from me. I'm just going to put 1 in there. The current date, and you don't even have to know what date it is. You just hit Shift-Control-D for the date. And then because we set our file name already, we can just type one word, file name. And you see this little tag comes up, press enter. And that will put the file name there in your document. So then to get out of the header, I'm going to double click down lower in the document and hit Command-S to save my work so far. And I'm ready to move on toward processing and formatting data in this document. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command-A. So the one lonely line in this document is selected. And I'm going to change my font, and I'm going to change it to Georgia. Okay, and you don't have to search down this list. You can, but sometimes there's a lot there. So what I'd suggest you do is just highlight the font field there and just start typing in Georgia until it appears, and then you hit enter. Also, they want us to make sure that that font is at 11 points. So instead of 12, I'm going to back it up to 11. You see this shrink just a little bit. And from there, we're going to type a title. I'm just going to scoot down a little bit so it looks good. And the title, if I'm looking at the directions here, it says type the title exactly as shown below, bold it, and then press enter twice. So here's the thing with the directions. I don't know if you've noticed this as we go along, but the verbs, things that you need to do, I try to underline so you'll pay attention to those. So type the title exactly. Type. We're going to type this, video game ratings by the entertainment software rating board. It is raining outside. Do you hear that? All right. So I've typed this. The next thing in this is bolding it. I select text from the left margin here where my cursor turns into an arrow. I'm going to bold it. And what else am I going to do? After it, I am going to hit enter twice. And you know what? It didn't tell me to shut off the bold, but I am going to because the rest of this does not need to be in bold. Make sure the word ruler is at the top of your document. Okay, so do you see the ruler here at the top? I have it here. If you don't, you'll need to go to this View tab, and right here is a little box. You see if I unclick the box, my rulers disappear. There's one at the top and one at the side. If I click on it, you see they reappear. This gray area is actually my margin. And this gray area refers to my header and also the margin beyond that. You see there's a margin, and this is where the text starts. And then I come down here, and it overlaps a little bit, but if I use my arrow key, I can't go up any farther than that. It won't go into the header. So that's how you can kind of tell where you are in the document. So I'm going to come back down here. I see where my ruler is, and this is critical, especially when we're working with tabs. So as you're looking at your ruler, way up here in the itty-bitty corner is this arrow, and this is where we set tabs. So looking at the ruler bar, you see what's visible here. You take special note of the tiny tab stop arrow at this left end of the ruler bar. By clicking on this small box, you can change between different kinds of tab stops. So you see right here, this one, which is on the left, pointing to the right, that's our left align. That means our words are going to be against the left, and when we type, they're going to move that direction. This one, if I click on this, you see the arrow points straight up. That's the center align tab. The right align tab, if I click on this again, you see that the wall is on the right, and when I type, the words will move the direction of the arrow. And the decimal align tab is very handy because if you're doing numbers and they have decimals, like if you're doing a bunch of dollar amounts, it will align all your decimals. So no matter if you have $1,200 or 2 cents, all the decimals will line up under that one tab, and you'll see how that works as we move through these lessons. So I'm going to move these directions up, and it says once you choose one of the tab stops, you can click anywhere on the ruler bar. So let me go back to this left one, and I can click anywhere on this ruler bar. And you see I've placed a tab. And the tab is associated with whatever line you're on. So this line is where I have my cursor. That's where that tab is on that line. If I come up here to this one, you see it disappears because I didn't set a tab up here. It's only on this line where I was. I press enter and it will carry it down, but just to click or maybe arrow up, it does not carry over. So bear that in mind in case you're on a line and you're like, I know I set my tabs, where are they? Yeah, you may not be on the line where those tabs are still present. So I'm going to come down here. One thing is if you feel like you put a tab in the wrong place, it is movable. You can also pull it off and it'll go poof, quite literally. Okay, and this is just going over what I just said. Other ways to set tabs in a document. Okay, so when you are in Word, notice that your Apple menu up here, your Apple toolbar, says Word. If I come down here and click on Finder, for instance, notice that it changes to Finder. And these are some quick ways or options to move around in whatever program you happen to have up. So notice if let's see if I've got something that's open here. I kind of shut everything down. But any of these that you click on, this will change. It still says Finder even though I minimized it, and I have to click on Word again in order for it to change. All that means is say I want to do tabs, I can say format, oh, I'm sorry, the insert, what is format? Format tabs. Okay, it's kind of a quick menu. When I click on tabs, you see this tab dialog box appears. And this is key in getting tabs precisely the way you want them. The other way to get there, and this is probably the way you'll use most, even though there's more steps, is right here on your home tab. Okay, you see where we do the alignments. This one is up and down, line and paragraph spacing. If I click on this, I go to the bottom one, line spacing options. Then I go to the bottom again, and there's tabs. Okay, that brings up the same dialog box. Okay, so once again, you go to the line and paragraph spacing icon, click the bottom option, and then click in the bottom corner again with tabs, and this will bring this up. So this is important because, oh, it's not going to let me move that while this dialog box is up. Let me do this, and then let me get it up again. There's this, and this, and this. Free practice. Okay, so how to use the tabs dialog box to set tab stops. So let me put this out for you. Set a left align tab at 0.75 inches. All right. Well, how much is that? 0.75 inches, you know, here's a quarter of an inch, here's a half of an inch, here's 3/4 of an inch. That would be 0.75, and then there's 1 inch. I could do this by clicking on this arrow and then clicking again here at 3/4 of an inch. And then I could do another one, set a center aligned. I could click on this and go at 3.25, so that's 3¼ inches. The last one would be right align tab stop at 6. So this is the right align, and I can click on 6, and now I have my tab stops. The other way to do this, all right, I'm going to pull that off, is to come in, you get to see it again, 4 times is a charm, tabs dialog box. The best way, the most precise way to set your tabs is to come in here at tab stops and you say, okay, 0.75. All right. It also needs to be a left aligned tab, and that's our default. That's already clicked on. We're not doing leaders. That'll be the next lesson. So we have where it is and we have how it is. Now we just need to hit plus, and that adds it to our list. So think of this field as what we're getting, and this box here is what we've got. So the next one we need to get is 3.25, and I'm just going to type that in. Please notice that the tab stop at 3.25 is center aligned, so that means we need to come to this dot and click it. So we have where it is and what it is, and we hit plus. So this is what we've got. We have to get one more, so let's put in a 6 for the 6-inch mark. Notice I don't have to put in the inch marks. You can, but it just assumes that you're in inches because of that ruler. What is the alignment on this one? Notice it is a right tab stop, so I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to press the addition sign again. So now I have these 3 tab stops. I can also tell what kind they are by clicking on it. You see that moves to left, this is center, and this is right. So now I know that they're set, and I'm going to say OK. And looky here, they have set where they are supposed to go. So why do we even bother setting tab stops? Well, if I come up here to where they're not, and I hit the tab, it defaults every ½ inch. That's how that works. If I come down here where I have set my tabs, now when I press the tab button on my keyboard, which by the way is right over your caps lock button, it will jump. It doesn't stop every ½ inch. It jumps to the first mark, which, why is that at 1 inch? That needs to be at 3/4. Okay. You know, I've landed on a line that didn't have that, so I'm going to come back up here Hello, where are they? There they are. I'll delete those lines. All right, so I'm up here where I need to be. And when I press tab, it comes to the 3/4 inch mark. And what that means is now when I put the data in, and you see this is what we need to type in over here. Let's scoot this over a little bit. We're going to start, notice on the example, it says to tab first. So that's what I did here. I'm sitting here on the edge. I'm going to hit tab first, and then I type symbol, SYMBOL, and then it wants me to tab again. I don't have to press the space bar. In fact, if you use that space bar like that, I will mark it off big time. All you need to do is hit tab because you have set the tab, and it will jump to where it's supposed to be. Now I can write in rating name. And again, all I have to do is press tab and it will jump to where it's supposed to be. And I just type in ages. Now, right here, notice it says press return. When I hit return, it carries these tabs down to the next line. The hardest one to remember is always the first one. You press tab so that you end up on that tab stop. So our first rating will be EC, which stands for early childhood. And then we type in 3 and older. And then you just hit enter and you fill in the rest of them. Everyone 6 and older. T for teen. How many of you have seen these on your games in the boxes that they come in? Okay, then we have mature. And that's usually 17 and older. The shoot 'em up blood and guts games, etc., etc. And then RP, which means they're releasing the game, but they haven't decided yet on the rating. It's pending, not yet assigned. It's kind of like NR on movies, not rated yet. Typically it goes to mature or worse, but sometimes it just hasn't been picked yet. So if you haven't hit Command S yet, please do so to save your work so far. The next one, number 9, after you have your data in there, change the font of the text of your title, which is Video Game Ratings at the Entertainment Software Rating Board, okay? And we're just going to select that. Again, notice I come out here from the left. And then I make sure it is bold, that it is centered, and then also that it is taken up to 14 point. Okay, now it looks like a title. All right, the next thing we're going to do is change the line spacing of the entire document to double space. Do you remember how to do this? Remember when we see keywords like entire, that means all. So the easiest way to select all is hit Command A. That selects everything. And then under our Home tab, we're going to come right back to the same icon. But instead of selecting the line space options, we're going to go 2.0 because that's what it means to double space. Okay, we do that, and we have reached where our document needs to be as far as how it looks. Still, go back and proofread. Did you get all the symbols correct? Did you get all the words correct? It never hurts to run a spell check just in case. So at that point, you would hit Command S to save, Command W to close it, and then you would come back here into your Word assignment. You'll view the assignment, and then you will be able to upload that assignment. That brings us to the end of this lesson. Thank you for listening.